Welcome. The topic we'll be discussing in this lecture is copy on write. So copy on write is a very simple technique. Here what happens in the sense, assume that there is a parent and the child process. Let us assume that the child process is created using fork command in Linux. Then what happens? The child process is just a copy of the parent process. The child process is just a copy of the parent process. Then this child process can share the same pages that were used by the parent process. You need not make additional copies of the pages for the child process, initially at least. That way we are utilizing the memory in a better way. Okay. So it is not only with parent and the child process, it can be with any process, any two or more process which are accessing a common memory content can share the pages as long as either one of the process don't perform a write operation. Okay. So if more than one process were were referring to the same memory content, then those pages can be shared by multiple processes as long as they don't perform a write operation. This is the overall concept. So it can be better understood with the parent and the child process, because we know that the code for the parent and the child process will be same. So child process will be created after the parent process. So already some pages of the parent process will be available in the main memory. So when the child got created, let the child refer to the same pages as where the parent is referring. Let us not allocate new pages for the child. That is the concept. But how long it can be done? It can be done as long as either of the process, either the parent or the child, is not performing a write operation. When they perform a write operation, then make a copy of that page alone. If the child process want to perform a write operation, then before performing the write operation, make a copy of that page alone for the child process. Okay. In that case, the page on which the child process want to make a write, for that page alone there will be two copies. The original copy will be referred by the parent and the newly copied one will be referred by the child. Whereas all the remaining pages will be shared between the parent and the child. Okay. Basically, this technique COW, copy on write, allows more efficient process creation as only modified process pages are copied. Okay, right? So these modified pages will be allocated to a pool of zero filled on demand pages. Zero filled on demand pages means just empty pages. So all empty pages will be filled with zero. Okay, zero means binary zero, which means it is empty. Okay, so all the empty pages will be referred by a pool of zero filled on demand pages. So whenever a write happens, then one of the frame from these zero filled pages will be allocated, so that the copy of that particular page can be stored here. Okay, so the pool should have some free frames, so that whenever a page is requested, it can be immediately provided. Right. So let us understand this with this diagram. Say let us assume there are two processes. Okay. So let us say this is a child process. Okay, and this is a parent process. Okay. So and the parent process is already having these pages in the memory, page A, page B, and page C. Now the child is created. So let the child refer the same page. How long? So they both can share these pages. How long? In the sense, as long as any one of them don't perform a write operation. If they perform a write operation also, only make a copy of that page alone on which the write is being done, and then assign it to uh, the child. Okay, that is, the old page will be used by the parent, the new page will be for the child. Okay, so here you can see uh, this child process want to perform a write operation on page C. Now, as the child process want to perform a write operation on page C, now we are creating a copy of page C. A copy of the page C is created, and that newly created copy will be referred by the child process. Because now child want to perform the write operation, it will modify that page, and parent does not want that modified page because this write is done by the child. So parent will be using the original page C. Okay, whereas all the remaining two pages will be shared by both the parent and the child. Similarly, later if the child want to perform a write on page B, then a copy of page B will be made. So as long as they don't perform a write operation, they will share all the pages. So this concept is called as COW, copy on write. Okay, it's a very simple concept. Fine. Okay. Now we will continue with our further exploration of demand paging. So, so I guess you remember the demand paging concept. So in demand paging, the pages will be brought into the main memory only when it is required. Okay, and and the CPU will be generating the logical address and the particular frame number corresponding to that logical address. If it is available, then the CPU will directly access that particular frame. If it is not available, it will create a page fault, and this page fault will create an trap to the operating system, and then and then the frame will be located from the hard disk. But before doing that, the operating system, what it will do, it will check whether it is a valid access or not. Okay, that's a legal access or not. Is this process is eligible to access that frame or not? If it is eligible, then it will be brought. Otherwise, the process will be terminated. If it is eligible, then identify the frame and make a copy of that frame to the main memory and update the page table, and then restart the process again, that particular instruction again. So that's the overall concept. Okay, but let us, what to do if there is no empty frame? That is the question. So in this particular topic, what we are going to do in the sense, what to do if there is no empty frame? See, there is a page fault, fine, that is fine. There is a page fault. Let me go back to this diagram, which we discussed previously for better clarity. Yeah, this one, yeah. So, so all these things are fine. We are checking the particular page is not there, so trap is created. So the operating system checks whether it's a valid instruction or not, it's a legal instruction or it is legal. Then you identify the page from the hard disk, and that frame should be moved to an empty frame, free frame in the physical memory. Say in the physical memory there is no free frames, no free frames in the physical memory. All frames were occupied. There is no free frame in the physical memory. Then what should we do? That is the question. So that is what we are going to discuss in the rest of the topic. Okay, that means all the frames in the physical memory were occupied by one or other process. Some frame, some pages. Okay, yeah, in the logical memory we call it as page. That page will come into some frame here, right? So all frames are filled with some pages. None of the frame is free. In that case, what should be done? So in that case, we should do paging. In that case, we should do paging. That is, paging means what? Paging means we should identify a page and we should swap it to the operator, to the hard disk. Okay, so we should identify any one of the page, maybe this particular page, and move that page to the hard disk. Okay, and bring this page here, back here. Okay, so this is what we should do when there is no free frames are available, right? After doing this, then you update the page table and then you restart the instruction. Okay. So, so that is what we are going to discuss in the rest of the topic. What happens if there is no free frame? Then we should do page replacement. Find some page in memory, okay, but identify the page such a way that the page is not being used for a long period of time. Then page it out. That is, move the page to the hard disk. Okay. So before and the algorithm should check whether the page fault created, is it a legal page fault or not. If it is a illegal page fault, that is, if that particular logical address is trying to refer to a page which does not belong to this particular process, then the process should be terminated. Okay. Otherwise, if it is a legal page fault, then identify a particular page, swap out, okay, and swap in, that is, bring in the whatever the page the particular logical address is trying to address. Okay. So there are different page replacement algorithms available. We should use such an algorithm which will result in minimum number of page faults. That is important here. There are several page replacement algorithms available. The operating system should use the right algorithm which will create less number of page faults. Okay, fine. So another important thing is this page replacement algorithm uses an extra bit called as modify bit or dirty bit to reduce the overhead of page transfers. So what does it mean? So, so, so by this concept, what happens in the sense, only modified pages will be returned to the disk. Not all pages will be returned to the disk. Better I will explain this with this particular diagram. Yeah, yeah, with this diagram. Say, see, whenever there is a page fault, whenever there is a page fault, we do that particular steps. That is, trap will be created, and then check, and then the operating system check whether it is a legal access or not. If it is a legal access, then identify the page in, identify the frame in the hard disk, then check whether there is a free frame or not. If there is a free frame, bring it. If there is no free frame, go for page replacement. Okay. Now let us assume there is a page replacement. So we identified a particular page which should be replaced, that we call it as victim. This is the victim. This particular page we are going to replace. That is, we are going to move this page to the hard disk and we are going to bring the desired page to this particular location. Okay. Now, but this particular operation needs two page transfer. This particular operation needs two page transfer. What are they? One is identify the page which is to be moved and move it to the hard disk. That is one transfer. The another transfer is what is the desired page, bring it to the main memory in that particular newly created empty location. So these two transfers, it is really a costly operation. Is there any way to reduce it? Yes, we can reduce. When? Say, assume that this particular page which you have decided to transfer, assume that the particular page which you have decided to transfer is not at all modified and it is same as that of how it is when it was brought from the hard disk. Okay. Originally, this particular page might have been brought to the hard disk, say at particular some time x, right? Now, after x plus t times also, there is no change in this page. It is same as it was originally brought from the hard disk. There is no change. There is no updations happen. There is no write operation happened in this particular page. If that is the case, you need not write it back to the hard disk because already it is available in the hard disk. Only from hard disk you made a copy here. Okay. So when there is no updations or when no write operation occurred in this page, you need not write it back. You can just discard it. You can just discard this, make an empty location and just bring in the new page. That's it. Just bring in the new frame. That is enough. Or sometimes what happens in the sense, The victim frame, which is identified for swapping out, may be a read-only page, maybe a read-only frame. So if it is a read-only frame, then no process can perform a write operation on that. In such case also, you need not write that frame back to the hard disk. Rather, you can just ignore it, and you can bring the desired page into the main memory. So by that, instead of two transfers, there will be only one transfers. Okay, but how to do that? But how to do that? For that, for that, in the main memory, there will be one more bit here. It will be added. So that bit is called as modified bit or dirty bit. We call it as modified bit or dirty bit. Okay. So initially this bit will be 0, which means that this page is not at all modified. If any write operation happened, then this bit will be, the modify or the dirty bit will be converted to 1. So if the dirty bit corresponding to a particular location is 1, in the sense there is a write operation happened. Okay, in that case, if this particular page is chosen for page replacement, then if the dirty bit or the modified bit is set, then it should be returned to the hard disk, and then the desired page should be brought into the hard disk. Okay, but if the dirty bit or the modified bit is not set, it means that this page has not been modified since it came into memory. So in that case, you need not write this page back into the disk. Rather, we can just discard this and we can bring the desired page into the main memory. That much is enough. So that is the reason why we use the modify bit or dirty bit. So it will reduce the overhead of page transfer. Only whenever the page is modified, that only if the page is modified, that is if a write operation happened, then only it will be returned to the disk. Otherwise it will be just discarded. Okay, fine. Next, what is the need for page replacement, which we have already discussed. Page replacement is required if there is no sufficient page in the physical memory. If all the pages in the physical memory is occupied, then then obviously if you want to bring a new page, then you have to replace one of the page. Okay, so this explains that same concept with somewhat more clarity. So let us assume that there are two processes currently uh, available. Okay, so this is the virtual memory for process 1 and this is the virtual memory for process 2. So this is process 1 and this is process 2. Okay, so process 1 contains 4 frames h j h j m, and let us assume this is frame x. Okay, frame x. This load m represents, this load m is one of the instruction in this frame. Okay, in this page. So this is page x. So all these pages were available in the okay. The point is, out of this all the, so these are the process these are the pages in the process 1. Out of these 4 pages, 3 pages were available in the main memory. Out of 4 pages of process 1, 3 pages were available in the main memory. If you see the page h, it is here. Okay, the page x, that is load m, which contains the load m instruction, that is one page, so that is available here, and the page j is also available in the main memory. Okay, so page 0 is mapped to frame 3. Page 0 of process 1 is mapped to page 3. Page 1 of process 1 is mapped to frame 4. Okay, page 2 of process 1 is mapped to frame 5. Okay, page 0 mapped to frame 3, page 1 mapped to frame 4, and page 2 mapped to frame 5. Okay, here it is contiguous, but really it need not be contiguous. Similarly, if you take process 2, this particular process, again it contains 4 pages, a, b, d and e. Okay, so here there is, this page is available in the main memory, this is available in the main memory, this is available, whereas this page b is not available. Okay, page 0 of process 2 is available in frame 6. Page 2 of process 2 is available in frame 2. Page 3 of process 2 is available in frame 7. Okay. But frame page B is not available currently. Okay. Now, so this is the corresponding page table for process 1. Page 3, I mean, I'm I mean page 3 is available in which frame? Which frame? Page 3 of process 1 is available in frame 3. Page 1 is available in frame 4. Page 2 is available in frame 5. And all these are valid. It means yes, the frames corresponding to these pages are available in the hard disk. What about page 3? It is not available. So it is empty and it is invalid. Similarly, this is the page table for process 2. Page 0 is available in frame 6 and it is valid. What about page 1? It is not available and it is invalid. Page 2, it is available in frame 2 and it is valid. That is, it is currently in the main memory. Page 3, it is available in frame 7 and it is also valid, right? So this is the current state. Now assume that, so this, let us assume this is page X. In page X, one of the instruction is load M. Let us assume this page is currently executing. That is program control, program counter register is referring to this particular one of the instruction in this particular page. So which says load M. M is a page, which means load the page M to the memory. Okay, the instruction is to load the page M, right? So page M, is it available in the page table? No, it is not available. Okay, page M, is there any reference to page M? No. Page M is connected to logical address 3. Logical address 3 is empty here. Okay, so load M refers to logical address 3, which is empty, which is invalid. So it will create a trap. It will create a trap to the operating system. Operating system checks whether it's a legal access. Yes, it is legal. But is it available in the main memory? It is not available. So operating system will fetch the page. Will fetch the page from the hard disk. And now the operating system should move it to the main memory. But what about main memory? Main memory is filled. There is no empty locations. Every location is occupied by some or other frame. First two locations were occupied by monitor, which is the lock. All other location is also occupied by some other pages. So there is no empty location. Now what the operating system should do, it should replace any one of the page. It should identify a victim and it should replace. Okay. So this is the need for page replacement. This is the need for page replacement. Okay. And this is how the basic page replacement works. This you can call as the algorithm for the basic page replacement. Find the location of the page that is to be moved in the hard disk. Okay, find a free frame in the main memory. If there is a free frame, use it. If there is no free frame, then use any one of the page replacement algorithm to identify a victim from the main memory. Write the victim frame to the disk. If it is dirty, if the dirty bit is set, then write it to the disk, otherwise don't write. Okay, and now the victim frame was either returned back to the hard disk or it is discarded. Now the desired page can be brought to the newly created free frame and update the page table and the frame table, right? Mm. And whichever the process that created the page fault, restart that particular instruction again. Okay, in that whichever the process that was executing, one of the instruction in that particular process has created the page fault and it caused the trap. So restart that instruction again. Okay. So as we already discussed, so whenever there is a page fault and if there is no sufficient free frames available, if there is no free frames available, then there may be two page transfers, but that can be avoided by using the modify bit or the dirty bit, which we already discussed here, right? So one thing you should understand, the page table will contain entry for all pages. None of, if a process contains 10 pages, the page table will contain entry for all the 10 pages. From 0 to 9, it will have the entry for all the 10 pages. Okay. But whichever the page is in the main memory, for that valid bit will be V. If the page is not in the main memory, then it will be I. It means it is invalid. Okay. Right. Now say for example, the operating system or the CPU is trying to refer to a particular page, and that page is not in the main memory, so it is invalid. Now the page should be brought in. Now that page should be brought in. But if there is no empty frames, then a victim will be identified, and the victim will be moved to the hard disk, or it will be just discarded if there is no write operation happened, depending on the modified bit value. And this identified desired page will be brought into this place. Okay, right? Now previously, there is a say okay, in this diagram, let us assume this is the victim. This is the victim page, okay, which you are moving to the hard disk. So it means that as long as now it is valid, but now this is the one you are moving to the hard disk, so you should make it to I. It means till now it was valid, but now it was, as it is moved to the hard disk, this becomes invalid. Okay, and this new page, it has come to the this particular frame number. So this particular frame number, it becomes valid now. So this updation should happen in the page table, right? Okay. So this page replacement algorithm, basically it uses two algorithms. One is called as frame allocation algorithm, which will identify like how many frames should be allocated for a particular process, and when there is a when there is no free frames, then which frame should be moved to the hard disk, and which frame should be brought in, that will also be decided by the frame allocation algorithm. And page replacement algorithm, its job is to identify, so this is the algorithm. The operating system should identify the right page replacement algorithm, which will create less page fault. Okay, and there are different page replacement algorithm available, which we'll be discussing in the coming session. And these page replacement algorithm can be evaluated by running these algorithms on a string of memory references. Okay? And these algorithms are evaluated based on the number of page faults they create. Okay, the point is, the page replacement algorithms can be evaluated by running this page replacement algorithm on the string of memory references that it creates, and the performance, it is evaluated based on the number of page faults it created. Okay, the less the number of page fault, the better the algorithm. Okay, so these strings are not actually the exact memory references, they actually refer to the page number. If a page is available, then it means that all all locations corresponding to that page is available. The entire page is available, right? The page may have 10 locations or 20 locations, whatever it may be. So we need not address to the actual full address. It is enough to address the page. So the string, the memory reference string, it does not refer to the exact individual memory location, rather it refers to the page numbers. If the same page number is accessed again and again continuously, then it will not result in a page fault. Say the CPU want to access page number 1. First time it may create a page fault. Then because of the page fault, it may be brought into the main memory. Then again, if it want to access the page 1, then the second time it won't create an page fault because it's already in the memory, so it will be accessed straight away, right? So initially only it will create the page fault, right? So, and the performance of this algorithm, actually we are discussing about evaluation of this page replacement algorithm. It actually depends on the number of free frames. The more the number of free frames available, these algorithms will also perform in a better way, right? Okay. So, so here is a small example, like if a particular algorithm, page replacement algorithm, refers these locations. So these are the memory locations which are referred by this particular algorithm. Okay, by this particular process. Okay, if a not algorithm, if we trace a particular process, we might record the following address sequence. Say a process P1, these are the addresses it has referred when it was executing all these addresses. Okay, let us assume that the size of a page is 100 bytes. Let us assume that the size of the page is 100 bytes. That is 0 to the address 0 to 99 refers to page 1, sorry, page 0. Okay, let us assume page number starts with 0, and the address 100 to 199, 100 to 199 refers to page 1. Okay, and the address 101 to and the address 101 to 299, it it refers to page 2. Okay, so on and so forth. The address, yeah, sorry, this is to 200. The address 200 to 299 refers to page 2, and the address 300 to 399 refers to page 3. Okay, and the address 400 to 499 refers to page 4. Okay, so let us assume that basically what I mean in the sense, each page is of 100 bytes. Okay, so 0 to 99 refers to 0th page, 100 to 199 refers to first page, 200 to 299 refers to second page, 300 to 399 refers to third page, and so on and so forth. Then this particular page reference, this particular string can be converted something like this. So if you see, this string is really shorter than this. How? In the sense, initially 100th page, 100th memory location, so basically it refers to the first page. 100th memory location comes under first page, because 0 to 99 is page 0, 0 to 99 is page 0, right? And 100 to 199 is 100 to 199 is page 1. Okay, 100 to 199 is page 1. So 100 is nothing but page 1. 432 is nothing but page 4. Again 101 is nothing but page 1. 612 is nothing but page 6. Again 102 is nothing but page 1, right? Again 103. So you need not, again it is page 1 only, continuing. So you need not specify again. So because continuously page 1 is referred. Again page 1. Again page 1. So there is no updations. Continuously 4 times page 1 is referred. 1, 2, 3, 4. For all these things, this one reference is enough. Okay, then page 6. Okay, then page 1. Okay, then page 1 is again continuously referred for 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, so 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 uh, so all these things refer to this particular one. Okay, again page 6, again page 6. Okay, again page 1 is referred for 1, 2, 3, 4 times, so that is referred by this particular one. Again page 6, that is this 6. Again page 1 is referred for 2 times, so this is okay. So this particular address sequence can be converted to this particular string, which is a string of page numbers. Okay, it is a reduced string. Okay, and with this string, the performance of page replacement algorithm can be evaluated, right? So in the next lecture, we'll be discussing various page replacement algorithms and how it works. For all those page replacement algorithm, we'll be using this reference string. That is, we will be assuming that the process is referring the pages in this order. First, it is referring 7th page, then 0th page, then first page, then second page, then 0, 3, 0, 4, in that order. If this is the order in which the process is referring to the pages, then how each of the page replacement algorithm, how it works. That's what we'll be discussing. Okay, fine. Let us stop here. Thank you.